about some spring highlights? Tigers and Yankees on Sunday, and Javi Baez, new Tiger, driving in runs.
Javi looks good in that unit.
A.J. Hinch hopes to see a lot of. So new faces, right, including Spencer Torkelson. Torque.
Nice.
A lot of torque.
They're going to give him an opportunity to win the job at first base and figure out what they're going to do with Miggy, DH.
Hey, did you know that if Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was a Yankee last year, he would have led the Yankees in hits and stolen bases? You know that?
He might do that this year.
Right? Double steal, nets Aaron Boone's guys a run. And Colby Clemens, spelled all with a K, because Roger named all his boys with Ks, because he K'd a lot of men.
I like that.
Tigers outlast the Yankees in the grapefruit by a run. The Yankees have made a lot of changes entering the season, and one of them is just bringing back Anthony Rizzo, who ended the season there. There are some familiar names gone, including Tyler Wade. Brett Gardner is currently a free agent. He may or may not return, but Rougned Odor's gone. Clint Frazier's gone. Gary Sanchez is in Minnesota. And it's a new era of Yankee baseball with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Josh Donaldson. So a lot for Aaron Boone to get his hands around, evaluating talent in the spring. Aaron joins us on the Monday Stove. Booney, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We're good, man.
Booney, good to see you, man. Hey, before we dive in, I just have to have you settle one thing. You know, I sit next to Matt, this Trojan, all the time, and you being an SC guy as well. We got in this debate about cheerleaders. Is it cheerleaders or song girls? What do they call it at USC?
Song girls. Come on now.
Golly.
See? There's a nomenclature there. I wasn't making that up, man. Sorry to put you through that, Booney. That's not why we wanted to have you on the program. So we showed our fans, our viewers, a board of transactions for the Yankees. You guys have been busy. And you were busy, too, welcoming new players. What kind of a relationship did you have with some of the new guys before they became Yankees? Speaking of Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Josh Donaldson, was there any familiarity there with you and those guys?
Yeah, so Josh I've known a little bit. Actually, I've played golf with him before, and just from covering him a little bit over the years, had a little bit of relationship, familiar with him. He actually is in touch with my brother a lot throughout the year, so it felt like I had a pretty good idea of Josh. He's been great so far. It's been a great first few days. I feel like he's kind of getting entrenched in here. Isaiah, I didn't know at all. Other than I knew I was very interested in him all winter, and that first call I had with him late at night when the deal went down, I know he's thrilled to be here. I feel like this is where he's wanted to be kind of all winter as the rumors were swirling. But we feel like both those guys are really going to help us, certainly on the defensive side of the ball, but also what they bring to the table offensively. And we've been really excited with what we've seen here in the first week of camp.
Hey, Aaron, I'm interested. You've been in camp as a player, and now obviously you've ran a number of camps as a manager. What is different than maybe when you were a player and now managing that you might try to put in and make sure it's done?
Well, this year is obviously unique, right? Just with the shortened spring training. So, you're constantly trying to strike that battle between knowing that we got to get ready for April 7th. So there's urgency with the calendar. There's a pressure that the calendar presents and creates. So we're trying to, and I think that can be a good thing, because there's no wasted days. There's no wasted time. We know we got to get guys built up, but we also know we got to do it safely and smartly, because as much as we're getting ready for that April 7th is a big day for us, an opening day and the start of a championship season, but we're also getting ready for 162 and what we hope is beyond that. So we got to keep the long game in mind while also understanding the pressure that the calendar is creating. So trying to, be fairly aggressive with guys early in camp as far as getting them in games regularly, but trying to be smart in how we build them up so that they're in a good spot when opening day rolls around.
Hey, and that was always the goal when you became a veteran. I want to be ready for opening day. For yourself as a player, how many at-bats did you feel like you needed in spring to feel comfortable?
Yeah, you know what? I felt like it varied every year. You know, there were springs where, you know, you performed well. There were springs where you didn't perform well, or everything in between. And I didn't really feel like my performance, you know, once I was established as an everyday guy, correlated to the start of the season. So sometimes, Harold, I felt like it clicked for me really quick in 10, 15, 20 at-bats. Man, you're rolling along. Sometimes it took a little bit longer. I think every year is a little bit unique in that regard. But for me, it's about getting guys the volume, getting guys, making sure they're getting back-to-back, making sure they're at some point getting to that 7, 8, 9 innings and back-to-back, because I think that's the most important thing, that you put these guys in a safe situation in that first month of the season, and then you can roll from there.
I think John Heyman has a question for you.
Hey, Aaron, John Heyman here. I do have a question for you. Most years the Yankees go in as the favorite or close to the favorite in their division. Now, this year, with the moves that the Jays made, and now obviously the Red Sox adding Story, I don't think that'll be the case. I think I'll probably pick the Yankees third. Maybe some teams will pick them fourth. What do you think about that? Do you still feel like you have the best team? And, you know, what are your thoughts on these predictions?
We're in the middle of March here. I think we have a chance to be great, and that's what our focus is. That's what our expectation is. But there's a long way between now and the end of the season. I love the makeup of our club. I love where these guys are in their progression to get ready for the regular season. And I know we're also in an amazing division. And, you know, as good as the American League East is every single year, it seems like this year, you know, it feels like the teams are even a little bit better. But, you know, our goal and expectation is to be at the top of the heap come season's end, and that's what we're working towards.
Boone, I know that beyond Garrett Cole, you're still feeling through your rotation 2 through 5. I want to ask you about 2 guys specifically, though. First being Clark Schmidt. I know that you've loved his stuff for a long time. What's his status and his health and the kind of prognosis for him? And then I want to ask you if managing Nestor Cortes is as much fun as watching him pitch, because I love watching that dude when he's out there.
Yeah, first with Clark. Clark's healthy. He looks really good in camp. Feel like he's, you know, in his first several bullpens and live sessions, it's clear that, you know, he was doing the right things over that 3 months when we weren't allowed to have eyes or hands on our guys. I think the biggest thing for Clark is being healthy. He clearly is talented enough. He has the repertoire to be successful up here. He's just got to continue to gain that experience. You know, he's missed a lot of time due to different injuries throughout his minor league career, and I think for him it's just continuing to gain those reps and experience because he's got a really talented. He's a talented guy with a really good arsenal, and I like where he's at right now. As far as Nestor goes, you're right. He's awesome, man. And I think what gets lost with Nestor sometimes is just how good a pitcher he is, how good his stuff actually is. Everyone, I think, envisions just this crafty left-hander, which he certainly is. He's creative out there. He gives you a lot of different looks. But his stuff really plays. His fastball really plays. And the guy loves the game. The guy loves to compete. The guy wants the ball. You know, there were times last year where we got to a point in the season where he was a key cog in our rotation, and we were up against it and I may have needed him out of relief in the middle of in between one of his starts, and he's like, throw my spikes on, down there, ready to go if needed. He's a really competitive guy that loves this game, and I'm really glad he's on our team.
Hey, I want to ask you about Volpe, because we've heard so much about him. I've only seen a little bit of video. You're seeing him now every day, and what do you see from him?
Special person. You know, when we drafted him, I remember he came to the stadium. It was a rainy day at Yankee Stadium. He's a New Jersey kid, and we heard so much about his intangibles, and his leadership qualities. And my first thought was, well, we took him in the first round. Can he play? Well, I think in his first full season last year, he showed he can really play. And we're also seeing all those leadership qualities and all the intangible things go along with that. We feel like he's going to be a special player for us.
No, he's definitely top notch, and I love that. Can he play? So we're going to end it with this. I want to ask you, how do you keep yourself through a year now? You've been manager for a few years. Keep healthy. Do you get a chance to work out? Do you get to move around? What do you do to stay healthy and strong throughout 162 as the manager?
I have my athletic greens in the morning. I try to make sure I have that. I try and work out. I try and get a couple of lifts in a week, and I'm a Peloton guy, so I'm on that Peloton probably 3 or 4 times a week. Try and stay disciplined to that. And Jason Zillow, our PR guy, make sure I stay on top of that to keep sane in the long season. It's important to stay on that, and I try to do that.
Love it.
Jess King or Olivia on the Peloton?
Olivia sometimes, occasional Jess, but them not as much as some others.
Got it. You know what my big beef with the Peloton is, now that we're talking about this, if I might take advantage of my platform here on Hot Stove, viewed by hundreds of millions.
Sorry, Aaron.
More classic rock. Not all of us are like dance club kids that are 19 years old, right?
Hey. You gotta get in on a little bit of everything. Come on now, Matty V.
There we go.
I go with it all.
There we go.
Well, EDM, classic rock, 80s, 90s, hip hop, whatever. Let's go. We got to get a ride in, get it done.
Got it.
The main thing is you're staying healthy, and I appreciate that.
Boone, thanks for the visit, man. Good to see you, and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
Good to see you guys.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us on a Monday. Good stuff. We got the Yankees on our air. Can you believe that? How great is that? We get Aaron Boone. We got a Yankee game on. We got the Phillies and Yankees. Wait a minute. Phillies and Yankees at 1 o'clock Eastern?
No, it's my territory. This is my show.
Well, you're not on at 1 o'clock today. You're on at 11 a.m.
Yeah!
That's right. You can have your jelly donuts.
My God almighty, you got jelly all over the place.
Right. Someone might even bring you a buttered roll, too. Oh, that one's dead.